Lynette Oxley here for Tactical TV. We're here in Johannesburg. It's pretty freezing. We were on the range on yesterday morning, and it was icy.
Yeah.
Any Casper, not so much to talk about.
Yeah, it's actually not much, but there's a lot.
Okay.
So it's very important. It's you know it's not local news. It's international. You know, they say that if America catches cold, the whole world sneezes. So yesterday was in the Supreme in the United States, which is the Supreme Court is the equivalent of our constitutional court. Life tenure. There are 9 judges on the court. Their rulings are applicable. They choose not to take a lot of cases, but the cases that they take, when they make a ruling, that ruling is unimpeachable. It's irreversible. And there is a movement in the law. There's this toing and froing in the law, and we see that, and that's where the parallels come in with the South African law. So in this last case, in the Fidelity case, we saw the Constitutional Court taking a very constitutionally conservative direction, affirming property rights, saying firearms are property. You can't take that away. It's your property. You can't. And in contrast to FRONTLINE in the Hunter's decision, who was very strong on the almost the positive law side, saying that, but you don't have a right to own a firearm. It's a privilege. Yeah. So anyway. So now you get to the U.S. Supreme. And Clarence Thomas, who wrote the judgment, it was a 6-3 verdict in the U.S. Supreme, going into the Second Amendment's the details of the Second Amendment again. Whereas Heller held in a couple of years ago, the Heller case in the U.S. Supreme Court affirmed the right to keep and bear arms. This goes into it in a bit more detail, and it says so. Heller said that you can keep and bear arms inside your house, to protect your home, to protect your castle. In this case, I think it was New York State Gun Club or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I apologize. Thomas specifically, who led the judgment, went into a bit more of the detail, and he said this is not a positive right. It's not a second-class right, the Second Amendment. It is
that gets basically
given to you by the government. It's not given to you by the government. The right arises out of your natural state of being
alive.
It's natural law. So the right to own a firearm and to bear the firearm transcends your house. You should not be deprived unfairly. Okay, and then they made the distinctions which are common sense. They said, look, if you're a convicted felon, if you have a mental disability, if you're on drugs or whatever, this doesn't apply to you. But if you're not that, and you're over and you've reached the age of majority, there is nothing that the states may do to prevent you from carrying a firearm. So this is now outside the house. And this makes it a lot clearer by going into the whole difference between the natural law and the positive law. The Supreme has served to clarify a burning issue. Of course, the progressives in the states are losing their cotton-picking minds. They are going mad. They're calling for the Supreme Court to be abolished. You know, these guys live in some kind of a fool's paradise where if it doesn't agree with them, it must be struck down. It's absolute madness.
They can't talk about stuff.
They can't talk about stuff. They can't reason. They've lost the ability to think. So this was a very important ruling from this perspective of there's 390 million Americans. Whatever this is going to have an impact on South Africa even.
Yeah.
With our newly, which we spoke 2 weeks ago, I think it was, about how it looks as if our constitutional court under Zondo has been reconstituted, is a bit more outgoing, is a bit more firm on matters, a bit more conservative, and that's a good thing in this sense, because you don't want wild and woolly judgments that just serve to muddy the waters. Mm-hmm. So they will be paying attention to this. Trust me, our constitutional justices will be paying attention to this ruling, and they'll be considering in our context how that ruling might have an influence. So it's a good thing for everybody. It's not just limited to the Americans.
Yeah, I spoke about this whole thing about natural law and positive law in an article that I wrote
Correct.
for the Girls on Fire.
Correct.
Victim No Longer. And it's people like Barbara Frey, which is from the, and then obviously Adele Kirsten.
Yeah.
That's very much into positive law. It's rights that's given to you by...
If the government doesn't give you a right to own something, a blue toothbrush, you may not own blue toothbrushes. It's got to be, you've got to have the specific right granted to you. And that's absolutely ridiculous. That's a command-driven state to the nth degree, where the government decides what color underpants you can wear. Where the government decides whether you're allowed to walk around the streets without having a mask on. So we have some exposure to that now.
Yeah.
We cannot live in that kind of world. That kind of world is a dismal place. That kind of a world is not a kind of world that we want to bequeath to our children.
I don't, but we don't have children, but still it's not a world that I want to live in.
I don't want to leave that to my Rottweiler. I believe you've come in for some celeb bashing.
Yes.
So sometimes satirist Ben Travato has now for the second time dedicated a column to you.
Obviously I've got it into his head. It's very funny.
You're living rent-free in Ben Travato's head. So he and hence the Rottweiler reference.
Yeah, no.
He
Rottweiler.
He went and cyber-stalked Lynette, found an old internet photograph of her with a previous Rottweiler who was a sweetest little thing.
He was
a small dog, and he was the sweetest
very
dog.
Sweet.
And is talking about this Rottweiler that'll bite your face off. No,
that's the thing that I got most insulted about. Let's put it that way.
It's all good fun, and it's all in good humour, and we don't take it seriously at all. It's one of the things. You just have to learn to smile and wave.
Smile and wave. Yes. Any case.
So Ben, if you're out there, we're big fans.
Anyway, have a fantastic weekend. Don't freeze. We might have snow here in Joburg. We don't know.
Yeah, gotta go home and lug wood around.
Any case, have a fantastic one. Cheers.
Guys, have a great weekend.
Scrappy, the Land Rover, has lots of friends. Come play with us, the fun never ends. We're gun buddies, we learn gun safety. It's fun and easy, just like 1, 2, 3. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away. Someone has a gun they keep in their room. Don't touch it or it will go boom. Scrappy knows what's best, so listen girls and boys. Guns are not bad, but guns are not toys. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away. A friend invites you to come and play. He tells you to touch a gun. No, that's not okay. Scrappy knows what's best, so listen girls and boys. Guns are not bad, but guns are not toys. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away.